Hello. In this lecture, I'm going to talk briefly about the malware types. I mentioned in the previous lectures that malware types is all about a script or a tool, small, very simple tool. Once it is planted on your target's network, target device, or target server, then it calls reverse shell. Before I dig deeper, let me just explain to you the differences between the reverse shell and the bind shell. The bind shell is the connection starting from your device to your target, and the shell can be a command line interface or GUI, which stands for graphical user interface. So the bind shell attack is the shell, a connection starting from your device to your target device. This is actually not very good attack because most of the firewalls block this traffic. Okay, but there are some techniques you can bypass the firewall by this, but this will be explained later. And the reverse shell, it is much easier, and this is most of the time hackers tend to use. Once a malware planted on the attacker's target device, then a reverse shell is started, and then the firewalls will not block it. Once the shell connected to your device, then attack started. And this is called reverse shell. The difference between the bind shell and the reverse shell: bind shell, the connection is starting from your device to your target device. Reverse shell, the connection starts from your target device to your device. And that's what malware most of the time do. Malware, once it's planted, it creates a reverse shell, so the connection is starting from your target device to your device, and then the attack or post-exploitation is started. So the types of malware here: first type is rootkit. What is the rootkit? Rootkit is very, very dangerous, and that's why I started talk about it. Why? It is very stealth. It's very hard to be caught by antivirus or anti-malwares because it's like planted within the operating system's kernel. Okay, it's like within your operating system's core files, and the anti-malware will not understand this is a dangerous or malicious file. It will understand that this is actually just a part of that operating system, like Windows, Mac, or Linux. So it is very dangerous. It performs its attacks stealthy. This is the rootkit. And firmware rootkit is more dangerous. Why? Because it can be planted on the firmware of your target's device or target server, and it is very dangerous. It can never get caught. And the firmware is like a simple software that is planted on the chip of your target device, for example. And once the malware planted on your firmware, then it never get caught. It is really hard for the hackers to do it remotely, to inject or plant their firmware rootkit in their target firmware. But it could be. For very expert hackers can do that remotely. If they discover a vulnerability on that operating system kernel that could deliver the malware to that firmware. Trojan horses. What is the Trojan horses? For example, if you downloaded Firefox or Google Chrome browser, it works like a browser. It functions like a browser, nothing different at all, but it's actually a malware. That is a Trojan horse. Software looks like a legit software, but it has a script inside of it, makes it work like a malware as well. That's why the attackers could attack you and you never notice. It's not noticeable. So this is a Trojan horse. Maybe you open a picture, it's considered a Trojan horse. So, and I will tell you how to do it. RATS stands for Remote Access Trojan. And this is a software that allows the attacker to control your device. So once you plant the RATS malware, and by the way, what I'm telling you here is categories. Once you plant the RATS malware, you can control your target device like you have it, like you own it, exactly. Zombies and bots. The zombies and bots can be used for DDoS attacks most of the time, but it has a lot of other duties. If you hack a device, and hack another device, and hack another device, and for example, thousands of devices got hacked by you, you can use all of them with CNC server and then perform an attack against an organization. You can make all of the devices attack one server or attack one device. You can cause DDoS attacks. You can cause other attack types, fake emails and whatever. a lot of hacking scenarios could be done just by zombies and bots. And by the way, zombie means an attack device that's controlled by an attacker to use it to hack another device. This is the zombie. That device that got hacked is called zombie. Worms is designed to do attacks offline. For example, if you want to access a server inside of a company that is not connected to the internet, you can use worm. For example, put that worm in your flash memory and then you place it in one of the devices inside of the company, for example, and then that worm copy itself to that device. Someone else put a flash memory in that device, then the worm copy itself to that flash memory, and then keeps moving from one flash memory to one device, and so on till get accessing to that server, gather all information, and then copy itself again till it access to a device that's connected to the internet, and then transferring or sending those information to that hacker. Or that worm instead can perform a malicious activity on that target server. That is worms. Spyware, it's all about spying. Spyware. The attacker just plant that malware on that target and they do not control anything, but they can open the camera, they can see what happens on the screen, they can figure out the command that the target runs, and a lot. It's just spying to see what your targets do. You can listen to your targets as well, but you're not controlling their device. Keyloggers, it's all about capturing the keystrokes on the keyboard. I mean, like if you're typing and you got hacked by a keylogger, any button you press on your keyboard is captured by that malware and then sent to the attacker. So the attacker can read by just careful reading, they can read the password, can read every word you type, and they can know a lot about you. Ransomware. You might heard about ransomware before, that once accessed a target's device, it gets all these files encrypted. Yes, it does that, but not only that. One of its purposes is just to cause a complete denial of service, or delete all the files or whatever, so you can threaten them. If they didn't do something, then all of this information will be deleted, the server will not get back as normal, all the files will never get encrypted. So you just force your target to pay you a ransom in order for you to get everything as normal. So whether you decrypt the file that you encrypted, or you get the service back on. That is a ransomware. That's its purpose. And last malware here is called adware. Adware is all about a malware used by hackers who want to get money for advertisement. If you got an adware on your device, you will see a lot of advertisements. So this is called adware. And adware really is not that dangerous, but it could lead to other dangerous attacks. That's all about the malware types, and it's very important to know all about them. But by time you will get experienced how to create some malwares or how to invent a new malware. That's all now about the malware.